Hey guys, welcome to another Startup Grind episode. So tonight we're going to be chatting to Anke Kuipers, and we're going to be hearing about her story as she started up Catching Games as well as Bendit Shoe Company. She's flown in all the way from the Netherlands, so it's really great to have her here, and I hope you enjoy the session. Cheers.
Welcome to Startup Grind.
Welcome to Startup Grind.
Welcome to Startup Grind, V&A. Enjoy your evening.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. I'm from Plan My Wedding South Africa, and looking forward to meeting some new people, getting to know some new opportunities.
Hi, I'm Sim Gutler, and I lead up Jurgen for Pty Limited, a company in financial services, procurement and business development. We operate in Cape Town, been here for 9 years now, and we're loving it, loving the space. Here to network and meet some good people, share some ideas, and hopefully generate some business.
My name is Nomfundo Makubu. I am the owner of a marketing communication startup, and I was invited to this amazing event to come mingle with other entrepreneurs, other startup agencies, and see what's being done out there, what's new, what to take advantage of, what are the opportunities out there, and so far so good. So thank you to all the sponsors, and thank you to everyone who invited us. It's a great event. Thank you.
So, Anke came across a part of a program which the Dutch consulates have actually put together. They're doing some incredible stuff. It's called #CoCreateSA, and the Dutch and the South African working together to help create employment and opportunities here in South Africa, as well as business opportunities. And they are doing some incredible stuff. And one of the latest programs that they run this last 2 weeks was a program called Co-Create to Accelerate. And they actually flew in about 4 or 5 high-level entrepreneurs to come and work with high-level entrepreneurs in Cape Town. And they were able to share knowledge. So we're going to hear a bit more information about this, be able to share knowledge with each other and be able to increase both the trade between the two countries, but also the opportunities and just, rising tide brings up all ships. Okay, I need to get some sleep, guys. Okay, so guys, can you please give a massive round of applause for Anke? She did win an ice sculpting competition in China. This is no lie. Guys, give it up for her. Woo, Anke! There you go.
I brought you a present as well.
Oh, thank you.
To celebrate your third
Thank you very much.
anniversary.
Hey, Alban Hyde.
So
Yeah.
they're the Dutch sprinkles. We use them to put on our bread in the
I know my
Netherlands.
grandfather does that, and I
Yeah,
love
but,
it.
but they're very celebrative, so I think you need that tonight.
Thank you very much. Cool, guys. Yes, please do tweet your questions. Let me get that up on here. There we go. And yes, so first of all, every startup grind, we always start off with, where were you born?
Well, I was born in the Netherlands, a very small country in Europe. And I was also born in a very small village called Schipluiden. And I grew up quite happily. I've got 2 sisters and a brother, and we did a lot of traveling. I traveled later on when I was about 18 for 1 year in Australia, and then I was thinking, like, what should I study? And I was thinking about all these technical jobs, but in the Netherlands, the technical university was really, not so innovative.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, at the time, like how they presented it to me. So they're a lot more innovative at the moment, actually.
Things have changed.
Things have changed, luckily, yes. So I decided to go to art school.
Okay.
So I did my bachelor's in The Hague. For people who know, that's where the government is located in the Netherlands. And I then did my master's as well at the Piet Zwart Institute in Rotterdam.
Okay.
And yeah, that was really amazing. I did a lot of like sculptures. I did ice sculptures indeed and
Tell
sand
us,
sculptures.
how did you get to China to
Oh
win
my
this?
gosh. Yeah, well, so I was actually dating someone at the time who I met making sand sculptures. And yeah, we both kind of got this opportunity to make a team and fly to Harbin for a world ice sculpture competition, which was really awesome. And yeah, so we basically made a design kind of in the hotel room and on the way in the airplane, like what are we going to make? And so we made this kind of sunbathing figure because China at the time was still quite conservative. So we wanted to get kind of the edge between, you know, a little bit the gray area, I would say. And that was really awesome. So we made the whole figure. We won, I think, the second prize.
Wow.
And well, that was good enough for them to also say, you know, you have to stay and make like also a snow sculpture. And this was gigantic, you know, like it was 4 meters by 4 meters by 4 meters, like this huge block of snow. And yeah, like what was interesting actually is because you had to cut down everything that you didn't need. That's like what we used to say to each other, like how are we gonna start? So we had this idea and it was just like cutting down anything you don't need. And I later on used that in my business as well, just cut down everything you don't need.
If you don't need it, get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
Keep
And
it
then in the
lean.
end, you know, you create the sculpture inside of that. So yeah, that was very interesting. And we actually did the snow sculpture together with 2 people. We met during the ice sculpture competition who were from Norway.
Okay.
So yeah, that was really interesting.
That's an incredible experience.
Yeah.
So that was while you were studying or after?
No, that was while I was still studying.
Still
Yes,
studying, okay.
yes.
Okay, so then after you studied, what did you do after you studied?
Well, actually, already during my studies, because I made this ice sculpture competition, that's how I kind of started my first company. So at one point, I was still in The Hague studying my bachelor degree, and I got a call from my art school saying, hey, there's this, you know, people asking about, like, people who want to join for ice sculptures, and I was like, yeah, I do ice sculptures. So I got in contact with the people that were actually organizing, and I was, like, being very blunt, probably, but I just said, well, you know, I know you probably contacted these and these people. If you want to do like ice sculptures and do it cheaper, you know, I can make you a really interesting offer.
Wow.
So I kind of bluffed a little bit because I'd never organized an ice sculpture competition or anything like that
Make
before,
it till you make it.
obviously. And they said, yeah, okay, no worries, come by. So I went to their office and we sat down and I, you know, prepared a whole presentation and I knew where to get the ice and how to do everything. So we managed to organize this gigantic event in Amsterdam on a really big square. So we had like these big blocks of ice and we had to carve it out and make like ice, you know, like the polar bears, and we had like students doing stuff. So there was this whole big kind of craziness going on.
So there was a lot of people coming. Was it part of a whole festival that was happening?
No, it was actually a promotion stunt for Australian homemade ice cream. So it's kind of an ice cream brand in the Netherlands, and they wanted to open up their new store and wanted to do
Marketing.
something crazy which would get loads of attention.
And then from there, that managed to. Did you manage to get a whole bunch of offers after that?
Yeah, we did a
More
few
and-
more.
Okay.
Yes, we did a few more, but I found out that, like, because I was an artist, we had to do like quite commercial stuff. So even though it was nice to create like sort of campaign kind of thing, or think with the client, like, okay, what kind of sculpture suits the purpose that you have, I was like, yeah, it's not really really my thing, and it took a lot of time to do the acquisition. So I was like, yeah, I have to find something that is a little bit more in line with where my own passion is, and that doesn't cost as much time, you know, just calling people and going from door to door, basically. So after, already during my study, so I had my art practice as well, so I did like exhibitions and stuff.
Okay.
I quit doing that actually about 2 years after I finished art school because, yeah, I was too hooked up with all the other adventures I got myself into. And so, yeah, then I actually went more towards the gaming concepts. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you game yourself, or were you just interested in designing the games?
Yeah, I gamed myself. I used to love like just the board games, and I was also playing computer games a lot, but mainly more when I was like a child. So, and then during art school, I started to play some other games, but I found that it got really interesting where. Yeah, kind of this possibility was for players to kind of connect online through the gaming principles. So I got very inspired by that. And then I was also like, I was making this gigantic art installations in museums, like literally, like I was building spaceships and like, I don't know, space agencies. I know I had to do a lot with space and like making the whole museum goals and having like, I don't know, like big installations and stuff. It was really awesome to do, you know, I really got into it, but it was also like after you then had an exhibition, was like, okay, and now what, you know, what am I now gonna do? So the exhibition was there and I was there sitting at home feeling really tired of, you know, me building up this whole thing in a short moment of time. So I was like, okay, how can I do that differently? You know, how can I get interaction with people or do something different? And then I thought like, and I got inspired by this game. I was like, yeah, I just have to find out how this works. So I was like, yeah, I have to build a game. So let's just start like building a space game and then just start somewhere. And then, you know, I create a universe and then I can create like all planets and stuff. So, and it was this massive multiplayer online strategy game. I don't know if people know about that, but it's like a game where you can play with thousands of people online. It's very nerdy, but really, I really love those kind of games.
Interacting with people online in the in Unreal World.
Yes, yes. So that was really interesting, and yeah, like everybody thought that I was nuts. You know, they were like, "Yeah, but you know, you don't know programming, you don't know anything about building a game business." It was like, you know, how are you gonna do this? And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." You know, I'll figure it out.
Okay, okay.
So I really started by like, I don't know, making the game.
So how did you start? Did you start researching online, or did you start talking to people? Or
Well, I did a lot of things simultaneously. So one of the things that I really found, like when I finished art school, I had no network of people. So when people said to me, like, you know, how are you gonna do the development and stuff, was like, yeah, I don't know any developers. I don't know anything about technical stuff. So I thought like, okay, I need to get to know technical people. How do I do that? So yeah, I basically just started calling people that I randomly found on the internet, and I don't know, just started to think like, okay, so because
I want to get a game going, and then they're like, yeah, right.
well, kind of went like that, but I was very persistent.
Sure.
So there was this one company, because I thought like, yeah, if I find like developers in the Netherlands, it's like really expensive. So I thought like, yeah, no, I maybe have to do like outsourcing or insourcing. I had no idea even what those kind of things meant, really. I just thought, you know, I heard them buzzing around me, so I was like, yeah, let's just Google it, you know. So I found this company, and I called them up. I said, I'm going to make this awesome game, but I need developers, you know. Do you want to, like, sponsor or, like, because as an artist, you know, I never had money. So, you know, money was never kind of a thing you would think about. You would just think like, okay, who can I call that just wants to help me, you know? And I was really, really naive at the time because I had no business experience whatsoever. I just had this crazy idea of making this awesome game. So, you know, I started calling them and they said, yeah, well, okay, come by. And we had this conversation and they were like, yeah, I don't know. Well, we get back to you, of course. They didn't come back to me. So I thought, okay, who else can I interact with? So I started to call schools and see what possibilities there were for internships. And I was like, yeah, you know, I was thinking, yeah, what do I have to offer? Because like if people want to do something for me, I also have to think about like what can I offer them? So that was something that worked quite well. So I basically, all the interns were working for free for me, but I didn't get paid. So that I think made up for it. And yeah, like what I had to offer for them was, you know, an amazing experience to get to learn stuff along the way. And then, so I got a couple of them yeah, kind of lined up. That sounds really bad, but I mean that's, you know, there were some lines in the fire, so or how do you say,
Yeah, no,
some
no, no,
fishing
yeah.
hooks. And then I also hired one professional guy because I thought, yeah, I need one professional guy at least to help a little bit,
Give some guidance.
to give some guidance, or at least I found someone. I don't think I hired him at the time. And then out of the blue, this company that I was being in contact with called me and they said, well, you know, if you want to get started, we have this opportunity now for our IT director in Russia, and he can help you maybe find out what you need for your projects, and, you know, we can maybe take it
Wow.
from there.
Okay.
So it's like, wow, this is awesome. So I said, yeah, okay, when can I come? You know, so they said, oh, well, what do you want to come? I was like, well, let me see when I can find a cheap ticket to St. Petersburg. So I was really and I was like, you know, I always wanted to go to Russia. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I just go to Russia, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I will see.
They're not going to trade you off for slave trade at all.
I was a
Totally fine.
little bit afraid for that because I actually missed my plane in, yeah, what was it, Czechia, or the Czech Republic, and in Prague, and no, yeah. So I had to take another plane, and then I had to take another plane in Moscow. But I was there in the middle of the night, and I missed my plane. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So because the people there, they don't speak Dutch, they don't speak English, so it was really like hands and feet, and like, I don't know, I stepped into this cab, and I was really afraid that he would take me somewhere. So I called the people I knew in St. Petersburg. I was like, can you please talk to my cab driver, because I have no idea where I'm going. And then I missed the plane, so I was like, shit, what do I do now? And yeah, then I met some other people. They say, well, if you take the bus, then you know, you will be able to catch the train. So I was like, okay, I'll take the bus. And then I took the bus, but it went really, really slow. And I only had like an hour or something to catch the right train to go overnight. So I would be in time in St. Petersburg the next day. And so I was like, oh shit, what do I do? So I started talking to this other person who was sitting next to me. I said, yeah, you know, is there any quicker way? And she said, well, here in Russia, we have this opportunity that local drivers can take you. I can call my friend, and you know, you just pay him a little bit, and you step out like 2 stops from now, and he will take you to the train station. And I was like, shit, you know, this is really dangerous.
Some random person.
Some random person on the bus, but I was like, yeah, but I need to catch this train. And I was like, yeah, you know, can I trust this person? And my gut kind of said, yeah, this person is trustworthy, you know, just do it. It feels all right. And I learned that a lot through my business as well. Like you know, the moments when I went wrong is when I didn't follow my gut.
Yeah.
But this time it went well. So I stepped out of the bus, and there was this black car, you know, sitting around the corner. I was like, when I went in, there was like all these toys and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this for real? Am I gonna survive this trip even? So I was like, yeah, hello, and I started a conversation, and I noticed also, like, you know, when you make conversations with people, you know, familiarize yourself with the other person, show interest in them, even if you're not able to speak the language, because he wasn't able to understand anything I was saying, so it was really hands and feet again. But anyway, he managed to take me to the train station.
You got in time.
Got into the train. It was an amazing experience as well. Like, you know, you have these night trains there where you have like 3 layers of people sleeping above each other, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, will my laptop be safe and stuff like that. But yeah, it was fine. So yeah, it was an amazing
Did
trip.
that guy help you actually develop the game further? And
Yeah, so when I got to St. Petersburg, I met Yuri, and yeah, we sat together during a week, like kind of trying out, like, what do we need, how, because I had no idea as well, like, how am I going to start this game? Like, how am I going to manage, for example, technical people? Because I had no experience, you know, I was, you know, trained being a concept developer, but not necessarily like an IT director or a software developer, anything like that. So, and we got a really good connection. So in the end, we managed in a week time to set up the basics of the product, and I had kind of my guidelines, like I wanted to be scalable. I needed easily to have new people, because I had this big idea, you know, I wanted to have a big game and like a big company, and like, I don't know, I thought, you know, gaming can go huge, like really quickly. So I was like, yeah, I have to pay attention to that. So I have to, you know, strategically build my company in a wise way. And so we discussed all these topics, and then in the end I hired him actually to kind of train me to, to teach me how to run my company for the
Sure,
software
as a mentor,
developers
yeah.
at the time,
Yeah.
because I had no money. So I had to do things very budget-wise, and I was like, I was curious as well, so I wanted to learn.
And so what happened? Okay, so you built the game, got going.
Yeah, so
And
it was a
then-
really big trip actually, because so I went back and then I still had my funding issues. So I had about 5,000 euros, I think, at the time, or it was even less on my bank account. And I was like, okay, so what am I going to do with this money? Am I going to spend it on my, new crazy adventure, or am I going to go on a holiday or do something else? So it's like, okay, yeah, this is a tough choice. But at the time, it just felt like so good to start this project that I really was like, I just want to see where this ends. So even if I spend the 4,000 money and it just gets me started, or maybe it doesn't get me started at all, but I just managed to make the first step. So I was just interested what would happen, and I just believed in the concept, and that during this process things would fall into place. So I hired the professional one I met earlier, and I hired the students, and I basically started going. And I had the hope that because I had about maybe 3 months of development time, that I would be able to find enough funding to get me going for the next period.
So,
And and that was maybe because there was always this chicken and egg story I found. So when I started, and already at the beginning when I mentioned, I needed other people, so I found also people, I found this course that could help me start my company, so I attended that, and then there was the Chamber of Commerce who offered some kind of vouchers for some financial advice, so I was like, okay, I'll take those.
So you went to different organizations, you spoke to people,
Yes.
you networked, and you built up your networks, you built
Yeah.
up this game. Let's fast forward to where we are now.
Yeah.
And you've just come across to help with Sea Monster,
Yeah.
and consulting with, because they're also a gaming company as well
Yeah,
as,
there are.
I think. Tell us a bit about that, what co-creating was like.
Yeah, well, we had this amazing experience actually the past week. So I remember about a month ago, I got this reply from someone in the Netherlands who said, Anke, I found this amazing post, you have to check it out. So this was on a Tuesday evening, and I was like, this was a post from Kevin, I think he's in the room today as well. And he was looking for people who wanted to participate in a challenge here in Cape Town, collaborating with local companies on their challenge. And it was about gaming, so I was like, oh, this is really interesting. It really suited kind of the previous experiences that I had. And I replied, and I got an answer the same morning, and he said, yeah, we want to have you part of the program. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I came here in Cape Town, never been here before.
And is it nice?
It's
Enjoyable?
amazing, you have mountains, beach, everything. It was really awesome. I've been, and I met you also a few days later, and then I was popping into you all the time during the week, not wanting to talk to you because I wanted to have this conversation today. And then, I met Sea Monsters the first day here, and it was really interesting. So they actually come more from an animation background, and they started to make games with that as well. So they have the most amazing graphics, they're really, really smart people, really beautiful storytelling. And they had this challenge okay, we now are having clients and we create products for our clients, but we want to become more like a product company. So we have a product and then clients come to make use of this product. And I have been doing this basically with my game. So I didn't want to have any clients. I just wanted to make my game, and I did a lot of research how my business model would be like. I did a lot of research to other games. And so we have been working on these challenges and to see how can we help their idea to turn it into a product, and what can they learn from my failures maybe, or my lessons learned, and do that differently. And one of the most important ones that I think was my lesson when I had my gaming business is that, and maybe, if there are IT entrepreneurs here as well, they recognize it, you kind of think your product is never finished, and, and that it's not good enough yet to make money from it. So I was the same. I was like, you know, I had already from the beginning, I had players playing the game because it was cheaper for them to test if there were bugs than it was for me to get people or have my own staff doing that. But like to go really to like a monetization model, I had everything in place, but I decided to postpone it each time because I was like, yeah, you know, the rules are not good enough yet. Like we have to tweak it here, we have to tweak it there. And if there's something I really learned is like, just swap it around, you know, have payment methods in there from the beginning, have this conversation with your clients, like, you know, what do they want to pay for, and how do they want to become fan of your product, like really involve your clients, and not only on a level of like what functionalities do you want, but also make it practical, you know, what would actually be worthwhile for you to pay for, and what is your interest for that.
So monetize early and listen to your clients.
Yes, yes. So, and there with Simon, so we also worked on that to see like, you know, how can we create that cash flow kind of as early as possible.
And going back to your game, did you manage to find funding for the game?
Yes, I did. It was really tough because at the time I think was about 26, 27, female, only owner of the company. You know, like a girl into gaming, you know, everybody who looked at me was like, are you for real? Like, is this really happening? And I was like, yeah, of course it's happening. You have my whole
What's wrong
team.
with you?
And
Come
like,
on.
you know, we have this international team in St. Petersburg and later in Kiev and Brussels and the Netherlands. I was like, yeah, you know, we have to, everything is running, you know, we just need your money and we're going to make this awesome product. And well, I managed to get some funding, so you know it's kind of the I don't know if the people know it, but you have your family and fools or family friends and fools. Yeah. So I got some family and friends and fools to help me out. So that was amazing. Like this one guy I met actually when I was traveling in Australia, he came to the Netherlands and he gave my first really big portion of funding. And I was just like shocked. Like I was like, wow, is this for real? Because now it's really getting started, you know? And then after that, I managed to get like subsidies and I was doing research on that. So a lot of the areas, there are subsidies in the Netherlands at least, but our governments supply things. I don't know if it's the best way to get funding because it takes a lot of time.
Okay.
And I also got into the angel investments scene, which is a really tough one. And I really learned, like, if there's one thing I learned as, like, you know, growing your startup, what mainly angel investors are interested in is like this tipping moment when you start to like earn money. And then when this train is running, then they kind of get interested to get like, hooked on and help to scale the business, like to make it bigger and use their network for that.
So they'd rather come in at a later stage when you actually got everything up and running.
Yeah, and that's really difficult because you always have this
you need
kind
the
of
money to get to there.
Yeah, so you have like,
Catch
but I
22.
did all this research, you know, we're gonna make a lot of money. You know, I just need the funding now because how else am I gonna do that? But like the same thing applied again. Like I really had to like build up my network also in the gaming because I found like, you know, I really underestimated the whole marketing aspect of it. Like I was just like here with my product and I thought like as soon as I product, like the world will want it. It's kind of this really naive kind of thinking. But like I figured at some point, you know, I was like, how do people gonna find out about the game? Like how are they gonna notice it? So this was really interesting for me to find out how to do that and really build a network of publishers and like network partners and go to these events where a lot of these people come at the same time. And for gaming, the good thing is that it's a really open community, so people are really interested to help each other, and business goes really, really fast. So when you go to kind of these gaming conferences, everybody's out there to do business, which was really new experience for me, being like in arts. Like, you know, if I would even mention money during my, you know, time in school, they were like, oh, no, that's, you know, a word, don't go there, you know, it's a word you shouldn't be using. It should be about passion and about like creation and all those kind of things.
Wow.
So it was really interesting.
Okay, let's go to your, you've got a shoe company now, Bend It.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because you actually crowdfunded it. You wanted to start the company, you needed to raise some money, and you decided to crowdfund it. and then get the thing going. So that's where you started early with your monetization.
Yeah. So the gaming business actually, at some point, we still had a lot of work, but we ran out of money. Kind of the Lucia. I don't know if you have Lucia here in South Africa, but we have this Lucia expressions in the Netherlands. So, like, at the end of my money, I still have a piece of the month left, kind of thing. So I was in this bizarre situation. So I managed to get out of there, and then I was working with my sister. She designed this awesome shoe concept, and I was like, yeah, this is really cool, And I wanted to do a bit more creative stuff, because after the game, I kind of had to go in survival mode for a few years. And the gaming thing was actually new and exciting. It was more about design and getting into that. But I was like, no, we're not going to invest like loads and loads of money again. No. We have to do it differently. So we managed to get like a person who could develop or like could create the shoes for us in Portugal.
Okay.
And
who came up with the design of the shoe?
my sister.
Your sister.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's quite a cool shoe. What you can do is like a little step in the.
Yeah, I can
There we
actually
go.
show
You
it.
show
Maybe
us,
it's,
there we go.
I have to
Take
pull
your
off my
shoes
shoes.
off. Show us how it's done.
So yeah, this shoe, like what is special about this shoe is that you can bend the heel backwards. So you have actually like a larger way to get into the shoe. And the nice thing is that you can like, wear it to the front like this. Okay, my shoe presentation. And wear it to the back, like how I was wearing them.
There you go.
So and she
Simple design,
yeah,
right?
she designed that. So she analyzed shoes, and like my sister, she's a brilliant designer. And and I was really amazed by it. I was like, yeah, we should do something with it. And it was also really cool to start something together. So so one day we were on the table, and we found this potential producer for us in Portugal, but he was actually a Dutch guy. So yeah, we were like, okay, we had this meeting like the day after, and we're like, yeah, what are we gonna do? If we're if we like this person, are we gonna actually fly to Portugal and like create a collection, or what are we gonna do? So we started talking about it, and in the end decided, yeah, if it feels good, we're just gonna do it. So after the meeting, everything felt good, and we kind of agreed that we would fly over to Portugal like a week later. So we were like, oh my gosh, okay, and then how shall we do it? And we both agreed, like, we don't want to spend like lots and lots of money. Like, we want to do it really lean. So we did decide that we needed a collection to show to people. But then when we had that collection, we needed other people to kind of buy the shoes before we actually had produced. Yeah. And that's exactly what we did. So we flew to Portugal, had this whole experience of like, in the factory, and in the beginning, all these things went kind of wrong, of course, because you have to find out how to communicate again, like, and you feel like you're polite, but you should really like go exactly for
So
what you want.
This is how it must be done.
Yeah,
And then they'll be,
yeah.
no, it can't be done like that. I want that, Okay.
Yeah, because my sister, she was able to make the drawings also.
So you knew it could work.
And
It's
she
just they
made
had to figure out how to actually
exactly.
manufacture it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
she made this prototype already. So
Okay.
we kind of at the end we really said like, okay, we should just be very clear like how we want to have it. And so that's kind of what we did. And we produced them, and then so we had this first collection, and then we started to like show them in events and stuff. And we created these vouchers so people could actually buy them already and give us the money. And we told them basically, well, it can take up to 6 months before you can get your shoes.
There's a bit of a delay on the manufacturing
There's a bit of a delay, but they will be made exclusively for you. And it can take up to 6 months. But if you're willing to invest, you help us getting started. And there were actually a lot of people that were willing, like even strangers, that were willing to do this. And this was amazing, because all of a sudden we had already cash coming in while we were not even producing shoes. So we managed to actually get enough to get like the female version going.
And then did you do that via a platform, or did you just go talking to people?
No,
or-
the female version we did like with these kind of vouchers and by presenting. So we were at the Dutch Design Week, which is a big event in the Netherlands. So we did the same thing, and we just had the vouchers and we just showed the people. And it was actually really funny because we were the only place where people could touch stuff and actually fit in stuff. And we only had like one size, imagine that. So we had one size of shoes in several colors, and that was it, you know. And people, all sizes, they were just fitting it, and like we're walking into the mirror looking at it, and we're like, yeah, well, you know, you probably need a bigger size, but this is how it looks. So it was really kind of like that. So we were like, okay, and people bought them. So we were like amazed. So we got enough funding to actually start to produce it, because the most expensive part for our shoes was the soles, because they were specific to the shoes. And then later on, when we decided to develop the men line, we decided to do a crowdfunding campaign.
Crowdfunding campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
what crowdfunding platform did you use it, and why?
Well, the reason why we decided to do crowdfunding is because we really wanted to get this validation of the markets, and not only the Dutch market, but also like the international markets. And we wanted to see like what will happen if a larger audience get, like if we show the shoes to a larger audience, and will they buy them if they just see them online? And we looked at a few of the platforms, and for us, like Kickstarter looked kind of like the most professional one and the most easy to use. So we decided to go for Kickstarter, and that was a very interesting journey. And
They're more tech, hey? They focus more on tech.
Well,
Why
they
did
have-
you use like Indiegogo or Thunder Fund?
well, Thunder Funds, I just recently found out about, a really interesting platform. We thought about like Indiegogo as well. But we thought like we just want to start with one and then see how this experience goes. So if I would do it again, I would do actually multiple platforms and maybe start like one the first week and then the second one the second week.
Okay.
So you have multiple involvement, or even do it you know, one after another. We actually got Indiegogo who asked us after the campaign, please can you also do it on our sites? So it's kind of like, I think these crowdfunding websites, you can really use them as a platform to reach a certain audience. And that's basically what we did, and like test if this would work for us.
If people are buying your shoes, you know that you're going to sell them, and it's like validating the market.
Yeah. But you know, you have to build up this campaign as well. It's not, you know, it's not like a matter of, you know, you make some easy text and you put it on there. You really
How
should.
did you prepare for that campaign?
Well, it took a lot of time actually.
Really?
So yes.
Was it a matter of, hey, make a video, chuck it
No,
together?
no, yeah, my sister, she was like that. She was like, yeah, Anke, you know, I've finished it. And I was looking like this. No, we can't do it like this, you know. We have to put a bit more time and effort in it. And after that, we were like, oh, yeah, that's maybe true. So we kind of analyzed the successful campaigns and checked what they were doing. So what we found is like, you know, really talk about the value. Why is your product unique? What is the benefit of the people when they buy it now compared to when you buy it in the store, for example? Make a movie, that's really important. Show like why you're also authentic, you know, what is the reason behind why you're making your company, or what your results is actually going to be. Because the people are spending money and they have to have the trust that you can actually deliver as well. So make also like a timeline when, you know, you expect.
Get the milestones. And
Yeah,
everything.
get the milestones, when you expect the product to be delivered to your final clients, all that kind of things. And then also, I think what most people underestimate is like, but what we did, it's like same as when you create like a social media campaign or something. You need to have your first ambassadors. So what we did is we really went through our network and asked people, you know, please can you be the first to contribute to our product? Like if you like our shoes, if you want them, can you please be the first to buy them? And we had, of course, some like cheaper versions for the first to buy. And that worked really well because at the beginning, you know, your payment line goes up. And this encourages other people to actually also donate because they get trust in the campaign, they get trust in that the product will actually be realized, and they get trust in also the fact, it's kind of like, you know, when there's one sheep over the dam, the rest will follow. So you
Yeah.
kind of need a couple of sheep at least.
That's actually quite clever. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
So, and that's something I think some people sometimes forget, and they're like, yeah, we just post it, and then we just wait for what to happen. But you really have to be actively involved and kind of, you know, give it a
Build
push.
a
Yeah,
community around it and keep pushing it. and
exactly.
networking and-
Yeah, yeah. Keep also in contact with, you know, the community, because those in later on will also be, you know, your fan base.
Question: what is an important truth that you know that very few people agree with you on? Interesting question.
Very good question. I
John
think.
T.
Yeah, I think my truth is that you can do anything that you want. And like when I started with my gaming company, for example, a lot of people said like you can't do this because so many
Whatever.
reasons, you
Yeah.
know. And I don't know, I guess I just didn't listen to those people, but I was also like, I don't believe it. And I really believe like, you know, it's my journey. I just want to go with this. So I really believe like you can do anything that you want.
So the gaming company is not running anymore. You've run out of
Well,
funding.
yeah, we got about 8,000 people playing
People
it,
playing it.
and then so it is still out there somewhere, but you can't actually access it
can't join it or
now
anything,
because we're not
okay.
doing any technical.
And how did you feel after that? I mean, or when you got to that point where you're like, should I carry on with the game or should I stop and change? How did it, I mean, you've been building this gaming up for a long time and it's your dream and passion.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was very difficult. But at the same time, I really try to stretch things to the last moment. So I literally had like one day to like swift my mind and like think, okay, this isn't gonna work. I literally have like 2 weeks left before the bank starts to knock on my door. And that's another thing actually, like talking about this truth, because a lot of people said to me like, how do you feel comfortable with the fact that you're you know, investing in this company with the risks that are involved? And I never really understood this question that well, because I was like, yeah, well, you know, some people buy a house, they get a loan from the bank and they invest in the house, you know. How do you know that you will get your money back after you sell it? And okay, gaming is a lot more riskful, I know that now. But at the time, I was really like, yeah, you know, I can also do a really expensive MBA. So for me, when going through this journey, I asked myself all the time, okay, what is the worst that can happen to me? And when I answered that question to myself, I just asked myself, you know, can I be okay with that? If that happens, you know, will I be able to find a way to survive, or can I accept that consequence? And by asking myself these questions, this really helps and kind of got a little bit the pressure off at points as well, because I had to make, for me at the time, really big decisions. So we managed to get about 150,000 euros, even more, I think, in funding for the game,
Wow.
which was a lot.
That is a lot.
Yes. So that's about like multiplied by 14, and that's the amount of rent. So about a
That's
few.
a lot of
like,
money.
Yes.
Couple billion. Okay, we're going to go to questions now. So if you have any questions, please get them ready. I've got the mic here. If one or two guys can help me run around with that. So we're going to ask them, we're going to ask one or two off
Yeah.
Slider, and then we'll come to you guys. So get ready for the questions. Okay, what do you think about shifting education in South Africa through the gamification?
Wow, that's a really interesting question. I think that gamification in general is a very interesting thing, and also in education, but also like in management, managing business. So there's this one very interesting author, Jay McConaughey, who wrote a book about gamification and what lessons you can learn and apply them in actual life. And that has been a big inspiration for me to also think about, like, you know, why is World of Warcraft successful? Like, how do they do their quest? And why are like millions of people basically doing jobs in a game kind of setting and not feeling it as being a game? And I think these principles are very interesting for education as well. The only thing I see as a potential risk is that, you know, what I find is the old ways of education were very much to kind of line people up in a kind of a narrow way of thinking, kind of, you know, we have factories and we have to teach people how they can work in this kind of factory way of thinking. And my feeling now, or my experiences now, is that you know, we don't really have this kind of factory way of thinking. So it's really more about like what makes people happy. You know, what problem do you want to solve, and how can you facilitate people by really being themselves and getting them engaged and doing stuff. So I think if you can use gamification to empower those people, that's great. But stay away of like using gamification to kind of make people go in just one line, you know, and produce the same kind of thinking. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody got a question? Can't see the hands too well. Okay. What do you think about shifting? Okay, next question. What
Platforms did you use to market your gaming and shoe company? What platforms did you use to market? Yeah, so for the gaming company, the platforms that I used, so we really had a product. So there are a lot of like gaming websites, and there are specific ones for each one of them. So we had a browser game, yeah, there's this various advertisement platforms that just have a lot of these browser games that we use to kind of show our game to the world. And yeah, the best thing if you want to get to know these kind of platforms is really go to kind of the bigger game events like Gamescom or Casual Connect and get to know also what the market is doing. But to be honest, I really think, like from the experience that I gained now, is you really have to think about your target audience and how are you going to get like huge amounts of people playing your game or buying your game. So don't go the way that everybody's going, but really think like in my marketing, you know, how can I be specific and how can I ideally like start to make money already tomorrow? So I have maybe even my production covered by a potential client or who can be interested in my game, and then co-create it kind of together as you go.
No, very good. Any other questions? Somebody's got a question. I can't see. I've got a very bright light on
I
my
see
face
like,
here.
yeah.
Is there a question there? Yeah.
Sound like you move very quickly from thing to thing, no flies on you. So what's next? Your shoes are done.
No, with the shoes, I'm just getting started, basically. So for me, what I'm really fascinated in at the moment is like really like how I can create a brand for the shoes and really create the shoes to a next level, and then in the end, collaborate or get a potential buyer, because I've never really been to that process of getting a buyer for my company as well. And in the end, like my idea, I would love, you know, people to have adventures on my shoes all over the world. So and that's really something that I'm at the moment thinking about, like how does that work? Like, you know, how can you create that, and what does this imply? So for me, it's not only about the business, but it's also like, you know, what learnings do you go through, and like, yeah, and I'm just really curious about that.
Okay, for being the brave one to ask the question first, you win a pay-fast Bluetooth speaker. There we go. Thank you so much. Well done. Thanks. Is another brave soul ask a question out there? Here we go. Please pass in the microphone. Thank you.
In the bootstrapping process of I didn't want to stand. Wow. Okay. Of conceptualizing it. In the evenings, when you're going to go to bed, how do you stop yourself from not trying to do everything and actually just switch off and go to sleep?
Oh, that's a really good question. When I was doing the game business especially, I had a really big problem with that, because I was like so drilled on all this adrenaline that each night when I went to bed, like I was like just laying in bed like, I can't wait to, is it already like morning? Can I wake up please? Can I wake up please? So it was really difficult. But like nowadays I try to get a little bit more, how do you say that? So balance. So if I'm really like can't sleep, I try to do like yoga or meditation or like, you know, breathing exercises, or just listen to like relaxed music or something, or go running. I love to go running as well, and that generally just helps to switch my brain off.
Yeah. What is your take on India as a startup destination?
Wow, good question too. I've never been to India actually, so you know, if there's people here who want to invite me to explore that sometime, I would love to tell you my opinion about it then.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else got a question?
So one over here.
There we go, thank you. I really can't see anything, the slides are really bright.
No, it's
okay, yeah, go for it.
That side, other side.
Oh, over here.
Gee.
Somebody grab the mic and
I'm
ask
over
a
here,
question.
G. I'm on your left-hand side, I wanted to know, you spoke about, you just briefly mentioned exiting earlier, and I want to know, do you have any potential exit strategies in mind, or are you just, you mentioned that you might look for a buy at a later stage. Do you have some sort of strategy towards that at this point, or is it just as it comes along?
Do I have a strategy, you mean, for the shoes?
Yeah, to exit your shoe business.
Well, to be honest, I'm not so experienced in that yet, so I'm figuring that out. But like, I kind of go along. So I have my own kind of destination. So at the moment, I really want to find out how this works to create a brand and like to create a larger, collection of shoes and really work on that.
And stuff,
yeah, and then the other things like. What I found with the gaming is that things go really slow and sometimes they go really quick. So it's the same thing. It's really about like you have to talk to people and get to know people and like spreading also the kind of things that you need. And then at some point the things kind of come to you for some strange magical reason. But I really find that that helps. So, and that's probably why I say it now, because it might not be in another 2 years that I'm going to do that. But I think if you're working on something, there's always a value in it, and like there is a purpose. And for me, I am thinking about like what is it for me? So what are the things that are important if I'm ever gonna exit the company? Because you have to think about that. Do you want to stay involved, or who or what kind of are the points that you will say yes or no to a certain opportunity that comes towards you? And stay really true to yourself. So it's a process for yourself as well. That's at least what I found.
Very good.
There's one question also here, like how do you manage the big coding projects that you code on your own? So to be honest, I've never coded myself. So we had at the highest point maybe about 7 or 8 software developers working for us. And we used this collaboration tool. So we used Jera from Atlassian to kind of manage the work that needed to be done, and also to make the priorities and show traction of what everyone was doing. And especially by working in different countries and not being in the same office, this really helped with each other to kind of know what everyone was doing, and everybody could see also who was working on what and when. So
Okay, who asked the question just now? Okay, over there, you win a Bluetooth speaker from Payfast. Okay, one more last question from that guy with the mic. There we go.
Hi, thank you. So following on from that last question, when you were working on the game and after you worked with the developers, how do you think your concept design would have differed if you were originally a developer? And how did you deal with the conflict between your imaginative concept design and the constraints of development?
Well, to be honest, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we had a really cool team. So we never, we kind of were in collaboration with those kind of things. So I think it's useful if you are a developer that you maybe even know more about the possibilities. What else? I never really felt restricted during the process. So sometimes I wanted something and they said, well, this is really difficult. And then we would just discuss and say, what is then possible within that line? And we would just find out together what would work, basically. So, and I think because I wasn't a software developer, I gave also a lot of freedom to the software developers in my team. So everybody was really doing what they were doing best, and they felt all very comfortable within that space. So I think within that, we just collaborated really well.
Marwan, are you ready? Almost. Okay, we're handing a business card ball around. you'll see that I handed out a second prize. I don't know if you guys noticed that. First prize, second prize. So that is because we did one, then we did two, and we'd like to announce that PayFast have launched their recurring billing on their platform, which means you can now put in your credit card and you're able to bill from that credit card every monthly or weekly or whatever the case may be. Pretty cool. Okay.
Wow.
So thank you for those very cool questions.
Yeah, maybe also if people have questions, you can also find me on Twitter. It's at Anke Kuipers. So please ask them also on me, and I will answer the questions as good as I can. So that's maybe good to know too, because I think it's really awesome that you ask so many questions today. Really cool.
Marwan, are you ready? Go for it, my man. Is the microphone here?
Okay, guys, so the Twitter competition. We had a lot of amazing tweets tonight. Someone was tweeting about the chicken. Who was it? Why? So he was tweeting that we need to give a special mention to the chicken. And we need to give a moment of silence for the chicken and think about the next round of chicken that is coming. Is there a next round?
Next round of chicken?
Yeah.
I'm not following. I'm totally
You're out of luck. And then we had a few tweets about Anke's story, which really kind of resonated with us. And one of the things was from Ben Mari. She said that she called random people that she found online, risked being trafficked in a foreign country, though entrepreneurial struggle is real. And that really shows kind of what kind of persistence you need to build a business or start a business. We have some great tweets here from Brian and from Tuli, which is actually very similar. Tuli is Tule on Twitter, and Brian is I am Brian Banda. And like we normally do at Startup Grind, we give the prize to people who have an active Twitter account. Tuli seems to have started a Twitter account 3 tweets ago. So unfortunately, she's not going to win, but I'll read a tweet anyway because it's a really, really great tweet. She was so close to winning. You have the skills and the brain power. That's great, but that's never enough. Meet other minds that have something different to offer.
That's very good.
And that's such a powerful message coming from Anke's story.
Yeah.
So even though Tuli only has 3 tweets, maybe there's a different kind of prize you can give her. And then Brian, I am Brian Banda. If you want to travel fast, travel alone. If you want to travel far, collaborate. Find like-minded people and chase a common goal. So Brian, thank you so much. You're the winner of tonight's Twitter competition.
Woo, well done, man. Cool. I don't know. Okay, we'll give it to them. Don't worry. We'll get the names. We'll get the names. Okay, can you please, for the business card draw, please grab
so
out
this is
one
really
over there.
exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna go for
There
this
we go.
one.
Ooh, that's a nice
Oh,
design.
this is an awesome one. So it's Afro Coffee, Natalie Mikael.
Okay, well done, man. So we're going to get in contact with you with the prizes. There we go. Draw another one.
Oh, another one. Just gonna put this here. Okay, Romy Rijkrofts, life coach.
Life coach, there we go. If you guys need a life coach, chat to Romy.
Are the
He's
people
in the
here?
Yeah, they at the back there.
Yeah?
Somebody? Yeah? Stand
I
up,
don't hear
can
any
see.
cheering. You know, should
don't
I get
know.
another one?
Okay, guys, we'll keep those cards and then get in contact with you. And then also, thanks very much, Anke, for coming on the stage. We really, really appreciate it. You're going to get this box of Fruit Cube.
Oh, wow.
We'll be coming towards you. You can take us home with you right now. Because you're going to be in
Okay.
South Africa for a while longer.
Yes,
hey? So
for a
you don't
little
have to take
bit.
that on the plane. And then the next box is going to be delivered to the Dutch Embassy. Thank
Oh,
you.
wow.
There we go. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you very
so
much.
Thank you. Okay, guys, give a round of
Thank you as
applause.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, now. Lost property. Somebody's phone. No, not your phone. Okay, well, this is pretty cool. iPhone. As she left. Oh, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. No, I'm joking. I'll keep it. Okay, she'll be phoning this phone, I'm pretty sure. So, okay, thank you very much. Does anybody know who that was or what her name was? Okay. Somebody's into the shoes. Thank you very much. Okay, are you ready with your, okay, come up and, yeah, there we go. So this is a familiar face. She used to help us out on our social media back in the day. So welcome back, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody who tweeted us about coming to work at the Cape Town Garage. We would love to have all of you there, and for the ones of you who don't win, we'd love you to come and visit us. Come and try out our coffee, test out our Wi-Fi, work from there from the day, see what it's like. But to 3 people, firstly, Elizabeth Crockett and Grant van der Wagen. You guys are, is that you two? Well, congratulations. You guys are going to be coming to work at the garage with us. And also to Jenny Belcher. I'm very excited to hear what you are getting up to, working with the prisoners and getting them to start up ventures. I want to chat to you, and you're going to come work at the garage so that we can do that.
Very cool. Well done. Thank you very much. Thanks, Steph. Okay, now for the final trick. One day only has been very cool, and there's 2 little surprise tricks from Payfast. But one day only, if you go to their website, onedayonly.co.za, you can now all look under your chair for your prize. Up to 250 Rand vouchers are there from One Day Only, as well as something from Payfast. There we go. Away. Nice. Woo! There we go. Some over there. Excellent. Oh, this is brilliant. At the back there. Nice one. Okay. Cool. The Oprah trick, right? It's got to ever win. Okay, guys. Okay, enjoy them. Thank you very much. Right, so everybody has something at the cash bar, and all the money from the proceeds. Where's Sichle? Can you please come up here, man? Sichle. Where's Sichle? Come on, man. Come on up here. Yeah, and your team. Bring a team up here. Come on, guys. Sichle and your team. Are they stage fright? Yeah, come up here. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know Sichle. How's it, man? How are you doing? Okay, this guy, he has basically changed his life around from a really, really hectic past, and he's now helping to teach people how to code, both guys and girls. He started off a company called Brothers for All, and now there's a company called Mothers for All. So all the proceeds that went into the cash bar is going to this man and his Brothers for All and Mothers for All company, charity, to help these guys learn how to code. So, yeah. Thank you, man.
And people must watch out for my TED Talk very soon.
You got a TED Talk? When is your TED Talk?
I just did one, TEDx Stellenbosch.
Oh, did you TEDx Stellenbosch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay.
So the topic, it's called Dreaming Different Dreams. So watch out once it's online. Please go and listen for it. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so it's dreaming dreams.
So last week I was one of the speakers doing TEDx Stellenbosch. And the topic of my presentation, it's called Dreaming Different Dreams. So please watch out for it.
There we go. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. And then the final. There we go. Click that button. And this would not, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. This obviously would not be possible without literally these companies, Sanderbank, Payfast, Iridium Business, the drink sponsors, the venues, all these guys put this together, the team, and there's like a whole host of other people that I wasn't able to put on here, but thank you very much. A lot of work went into this. We've already got our next 2 events live. So we're going to be having, the next 2 months is FinTech. We're dedicating it 100% to FinTech. So the first guys are going to be TaxTim, because tax season's coming up. So we're going to be hearing their really cool story of how they started TaxTim and what they're doing. And that's in September. And in October, we're going to be hearing the story from Zuna. Now, Zuna started in Zambia, and they've just raised their second Series B, which is their second round of $15 million. Not rands, dollars. $15 million of a seed round B, and Series round B, sorry. And they're doing transactions between. It helps people to transfer money between individuals in Malawi, Zambia, South Africa, a lot of countries in Africa. So that's going to be a really, really interesting story. So please do join us. There are a few free tickets, I think. Most of them are sold, but there are 1 or 2 free. Please enjoy the cash bar. Please enjoy the snacks if there's any left, which I don't see anything, so I think you polished it all off. I hope you enjoyed it. So thanks to Christian from iHealth. Thank you very much to the Dutch consulate as well. Bonnie, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Helping us organize this event. Standard Bank, thank you very much. And Pay Fast. And wait, one last thing. Oh, yes. And the mobility, the next project that the Co-Create are going to be doing is the Mobility in Durban in October. Cue the music. Enjoy it, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers.